Cinematic space background with twinkling stars, glowing blue nebula, text Giang Mystery Hub, appears in modern sans serif font, professional 4K. Extreme close-up of a human eye reflecting the starry night sky, transitioning smoothly into a camera lens focusing on stars. The James Webb Space Telescope, floating majestically in deep space, its gold hexagonal mirrors reflecting distant starlight, hyper-realistic CGI render. Split-screen comparison. Left side shows a black void. Right side explodes into thousands of colorful galaxies. Cinematic transition. Camera zooms rapidly into a tiny patch of the night sky, revealing layer after layer of distant, swirling galaxies. 3D simulation of spiral and elliptical galaxies floating past the camera, glowing in red and orange hues, high detail 8K. The Hubble telescope floating next to the James Webb Telescope, highlighting the technological difference between the silver cylinder and gold mirrors. Animated light spectrum chart, moving from the visible rainbow colors into the deep red and infrared zones, scientific visualization. Visualizing light rays hitting a dust cloud. Visible light stops, while infrared red waves pass through effortlessly to the camera. Cinematic shot of the fabric of space stretching, moving galaxies apart, shifting their light from blue to red. Redshift effect. Close-up of JWST's gold mirrors, collecting faint red photons from the deep cosmos, turning them into sharp, brilliant digital images. A single, ancient, glowing red galaxy emerges clearly from the dark background, representing the oldest light ever captured by humanity. Diverse group of scientists in a control room, looking at monitors with expressions of shock and awe. Dramatic lighting. Digital cosmic clock rewinding rapidly, stopping at 290 million years after Big Bang, with a chaotic primordial background. Holographic comparison of a massive ancient galaxy next to the modern Milky Way, showing they are shockingly similar in size. Abstract visualization of a glass structure representing standard model, shattering into pieces, symbolizing the breakdown of current scientific theories. Artistic rendition of the Big Bang explosion, followed by swirling gas and dust coalescing into the first stars and matter. The dark ages of the universe ending as the first stars ignite one by one, illuminating the surrounding hydrogen gas clouds. A perfectly formed spiral galaxy, rotating serenely amidst a background of chaotic, colliding gas clouds, emphasizing its anomaly. A scientific graph showing the timeline of galaxy formation, with a red line spiking up much earlier than the predicted curve. Visualization of a supermassive black hole with an accretion disk spinning violently at the center of an ancient red galaxy. Purple web-like structures representing dark matter connecting galaxies, spanning across the black void of the simulated universe. JWST scanning the sky with a beam of light, data streams flowing from the telescope down to a receiving station on Earth. A view of Earth as a tiny blue dot, seen from deep space, surrounded by the immense darkness of the solar system. Camera flies rapidly past Saturn and Pluto, leaving the solar system and entering interstellar space at warp speed. A glowing photon traveling across a grid of space, moving fast but appearing slow compared to the vast distances involved. A 3D transparent sphere representing the observable universe, with galaxies inside and a hard boundary at the edge. Text 46.5 billion light-years appears in large, cinematic 3D letters, floating in space, measuring the radius of the sphere. The glowing edge of the observable universe bubble, beyond which lies absolute darkness and unknown regions of the greater cosmos. Grid lines of space expanding, pushing galaxies further away from the center. Crossing the boundary of the observable sphere. A detailed galaxy slowly fading into red, then black, as it crosses the horizon of the observable universe, disappearing forever. Silhouette of a person standing on a cliff edge, looking out at an infinite, dark ocean, symbolizing our limited cosmic view. A complex 3D map of the cosmic web with a marker, "You are here," in the center, showing our relative isolation. The faint red dots of the most distant galaxies captured by JWST, shimmering on the edge of the visible darkness. An infinite zoom-out sequence, showing bubble after bubble of other potential observable universes, suggesting an infinite multiverse. A grid representing the fabric of space-time stretching in all directions, making the distance between grid points increase exponentially. Time-lapse of the night sky over millions of years, showing familiar constellations warping and stars drifting apart into darkness. The dense star field of the night sky slowly thinning out, leaving more and more empty black space between the stars. A futuristic clock accelerating rapidly, years flying by until it hits 150 billion years in the future. Ominous tone. A completely pitch-black night sky viewed from a planet's surface, with no stars, only the faint glow of the local galaxy. Visual of neighboring galaxies accelerating away, turning red, and vanishing as they exceed the speed of light relative to us. Silhouettes of futuristic alien beings looking up at a sky that is completely empty and void of stars or galaxies. A metaphorical book titled Cosmic History, where pages depicting the Big Bang and other galaxies fade into blank white paper. A holographic projection of a single galaxy floating in a void, representing the flawed scientific conclusion of future astronomers. The colorful map of the cosmic microwave background radiation fading away until it becomes a flat, undetectable gray noise. Split screen again. Left is our current beautiful deep field. Right is the empty, lonely future sky. Stark contrast. Text, The Golden Age of Astronomy, appearing in gold cinematic letters against a backdrop of a nebula and star clusters. Montage of astronomers through history, from Galileo to modern scientists, looking through telescopes and recording the stars. Digital data streams flowing into a futuristic crystal storage device, symbolizing the preservation of knowledge for the future. Returning to the image of the massive early galaxies, now glowing with a sense of preciousness and scientific importance. A human silhouette overlaid against the massive structure of a galaxy cluster, showing our physical insignificance in scale. The famous Earthrise view from the moon, showing the blue marble rising above the gray lunar horizon, isolated in black. Visual transition from the cosmic web of galaxies to the neural network of the human brain, highlighting the structural similarity. Close-up of a person's face, eyes wide with wonder, looking up at the Milky Way, illuminated by soft starlight. Microscopic view of neurons firing electrical signals, representing thought, imagination, and the processing of cosmic information. A desolate landscape of a dead planet, with a beautiful galaxy overhead, but no one there to witness or appreciate it. Montage of life on Earth. Forests, oceans, animals, and cities, showing the vibrant complexity of our unique biosphere. Radio telescopes pointing at the sky, listening to static noise, symbolizing the great silence and our apparent loneliness. Time-lapse of humans building the JWST in the clean room, showing dedication, precision, and the collective human effort. Reflection of complex data screens on the faces of diverse engineers, showing focus and the pursuit of knowledge. Abstract art of a human silhouette made of stars, merging with the spiral arms of a galaxy, symbolizing unity. Fast-paced montage of the best JWST images. Carina Nebula, Pillars of Creation, Deep Field, flashing in sync with music. Returning to the specific image of the impossible early galaxies, zooming in on their structure once more. Scientists arguing passionately in front of a blackboard filled with complex equations, erasing and rewriting theories. Holographic visualization of a new cosmological model forming, incorporating the new data from Webb into a more complex structure. A young child looking through a backyard telescope, eyes sparkling, representing the next generation of explorers and scientists. A wide shot of the Milky Way arching over a landscape, with a path leading towards the horizon, symbolizing the journey ahead. Visual of the Andromeda Galaxy getting larger in the sky, illustrating its eventual collision with the Milky Way. Simulation of the Milky Way and Andromeda colliding, throwing stars into new orbits, creating a spectacular light show. A flower growing out of a crack in a rock on a desolate planet, symbolizing the resilience and persistence of life. James Webb Telescope, drifting further away from Earth, its sunshield protecting it from the sun, facing the dark unknown. A mosaic of thousands of JWST images coming together to form a giant question mark, then transforming into a glowing eye. View from the surface of an exoplanet, looking up at a double sunset and a sky filled with unfamiliar stars. Two beams of light from opposite ends of the universe crossing each other, symbolizing a connection between two distant observers. Montage recap of the key visuals: the deep field, the red ancient galaxies, the observable bubble, and the human eye. The host, or avatar, appears briefly or text on screen. Subscribe for more, with the Giang Mystery Hub logo pulsing. End screen layout with thumbnails of previous videos floating in space, inviting the viewer to click and continue watching. A final, slow-motion shot of a spiral galaxy, rotating majestically, fading slowly into blackness, leaving a sense of awe. Black screen with a single, tiny white star twinkling in the center, representing hope in the darkness. Cinematic rolling credits with space-themed background, listing research sources, visual artists, and the Giang Mystery Hub team. Real footage of the Ariane 5 rocket launch that carried JWST into space, a tribute to the engineering marvel. The rocket ascending through the clouds, leaving a trail of white smoke, breaking the bonds of Earth's gravity. The fairing separating, revealing the folded telescope as it drifts away from the rocket stage into the black void. Wide shot of the starry background, peaceful and quiet, with ambient space music swelling for an emotional finale. The Giang Mystery Hub logo reappears, glowing softly, centering on the screen with a subscribe button animation. Fade to black. Blueprint animation of JWST's sunshield layers, showing how they block heat. Thermometer graphic dropping to near absolute zero, -223 degrees Celsius, on the dark side of the telescope. Diagram of the Earth, Sun, and the L2 Lagrange point, showing JWST orbiting a point in empty space. Visual scale showing Earth, the Moon, and then JWST much further out, emphasizing how far away and lonely it is. Tension-filled animation of the 344 single points of failure during the deployment sequence, red warning lights flashing. Green check marks appearing rapidly on a mission control screen, symbolizing the flawless execution of every deployment step. Visual of stacks of money transforming into the telescope, representing the $10 billion investment in science. Tree of knowledge, growing from the telescope. Branches labeled exoplanets, early universe, dark matter, star formation, animation of light passing through the atmosphere of an exoplanet, showing spectral lines indicating water and carbon dioxide. Artist's impression of the TRAPPIST-1 system, with 7 Earth-sized planets orbiting a red dwarf star close together. A lush, green exoplanet with oceans and clouds, representing the dream of finding Earth too among the stars. Cutaway view of an icy moon like Europa, showing a liquid ocean beneath the ice crust, potentially harboring life. Stunning infrared image of Jupiter, showing its glowing auroras, faint rings, and tiny moons in incredible detail. The red planet Mars, viewed in infrared heat map, showing atmospheric patterns and dust storms covering the surface. The iconic pillars of creation, but in infrared, revealing hundreds of newborn stars inside the dust columns. The Southern Ring Nebula, showing a dying star expelling shells of gas, creating a colorful cosmic graveyard. Animation showing stardust from a dead star coalescing to form a new solar system and eventually a planet. Morphing transition between a supernova explosion and the pupil of a human eye, emphasizing the cosmic connection. Visual of the little red dots, the compact ancient galaxies that are puzzling astronomers with their density. Scientific visualization of a quark star, a theoretical object denser than a neutron star, but not yet a black hole. Equations of general relativity floating in space, with question marks and corrections being added by invisible hands. A time-lapse of a scientific textbook being rewritten over centuries, from flat Earth to geocentric to the multiverse. A lone astronomer standing under a giant radio dish, looking small against the machinery and the sky. A path of light leading through a dark forest, representing the path of knowledge through the unknown. AI algorithms processing JWST images, highlighting patterns and anomalies that human eyes might miss. Cybernetic visual of a human hand and a robotic hand reaching out to touch a star together. A floating list of questions: dark energy, dark matter, inflation, life, drifting in 3D space. Concept art of the next generation of telescopes. The Nancy Grace Roman Telescope and the giant ground-based ELT. Rendering of the proposed Louvre telescope, a massive successor to Webb, capable of imaging Earth-like planets directly. Animation of a futuristic interstellar spaceship leaving the solar system powered by antimatter or fusion engines. Visual of a spaceship struggling against the speed limit sign of, quote, speed of light, warping space around it. A wormhole bending space-time, connecting two distant points, representing the theoretical hope of faster-than-light travel. A beautiful shot of a galaxy cluster acting as a gravitational lens, magnifying the light of galaxies behind it. Framing the universe as a painting in a museum, with people admiring the swirling colors of the Orion Nebula, close-up of an eye tearing up slightly, reflecting the beauty of the cosmos, conveying deep emotional impact. Abstract visual merging symbols of various world religions with scientific diagrams, suggesting a convergence of wonder. People of all races and nations, holding hands, looking up at the same sky, united by the shared heritage of Earth. View of Earth's thin, fragile atmosphere, glowing blue against the black of space, highlighting our vulnerability. Text, no planet B, appearing over a barren Mars landscape, contrasting with a lush Earth landscape. A time capsule floating in space containing images of Earth and human culture, intended for future finders. The host, narrator, avatar standing in a virtual studio with a galaxy map background. Collage of comments and messages from viewers discussing theories and sharing their love for space. Animation of a share icon turning into a paper airplane flying around the globe, connecting people. 3 holographic panels appear. 1. Hidden galaxies. 2. Cosmic expansion. 3. Human consciousness. Zoom in to panel 1. The 800,000 galaxies appearing in the dark patch. Zoom into panel 2. The galaxies turning red and vanishing over the horizon. Zoom into panel 3. A glowing human silhouette with a universe inside it. Teaser clips of future videos. Black holes. Quantum mechanics. Aliens. Flashing quickly. A subtle, non-intrusive subscribe animation in the corner while beautiful space footage plays. The pale blue dot image. Earth as a tiny speck in a sunbeam. Recreated in high definition. A faint portrait of Carl Sagan, formed by stars appearing briefly in the sky, honoring the great educator. Visuals sync with the crescendo of the orchestral music, showing a rapid zoom out from Earth to the cosmic web. Slow panning shot of a serene nebula, pink and blue clouds drifting slowly, calming the viewer. Text, "You are the universe," appearing softly on screen, fading in and out. A child running towards the horizon under a starry sky, symbolizing the eternal human quest for knowledge. An eye slowly closing, transitioning to a camera lens shutter closing, signaling the end of the observation. Credits for music composers and visual VFX artists scrolling up on the side of the screen. List of Patreon supporters or channel members scrolling, thanking them for their direct support. A lighthearted clip of a cat floating in zero gravity, or a funny astronomy meme to lighten the mood. Text on screen. Do you think we are alone? Asking for comments. The host waving goodbye, or the Giang Mystery Hub logo spinning. A cinematic countdown from 10 to 1, but using stars disappearing one by one. Total blackness. Silence for a second. Then a faint heartbeat sound. Final end card with Giang Mystery Hub logo. Subscribe. And links to 2 other videos. Background is the JWST deep field.